So I'm here with Cindy, and Cindy, I think you were the first person that, if I remember correctly, and my memory is still okay, that kind of brought me into the world of mobile. And that's been interesting. And we're talking about like 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, essentially,
It was a
where,
long time.
where we met in New York, or could it be SMX in New York or something like that, and then you came to Iceland. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is you still at that? You still doing some you still MobileMoxie, and one of the things that I know that you've also been doing is kind of developing tools which are very mobile focused.
Yeah, we've doubled down recently on our tools. They've existed for a long time, but they weren't particularly great in terms of user experience and design. So we've been doing lots of updates, including renaming them. So now they have names.
Okay. Yeah. Can you share them?
Yeah. So the one that SEOs like the best is called the Serperator, and then PPC people really like the Pagescope. So the Serperator will let you see a mobile search result from anywhere in the world with specific phones. So you can pretend you're in Tokyo and do a search from this, and it's not just down to the code, it's down to a specific address. And you can specify language, because language changes the way results look. So all of the things that a real phone would pass, our tool passes, and Google basically thinks we're phones. And so we get an interactive result that you can click in, you can expand the things, you can do people also ask, whatever it is, you can click all the way through to the different websites to see.
And this is super helpful for marketeers working from their office, or in today's world from home, and maybe not have access to the tools that they're used to, and or don't even use these type of tools, to be able to see how their campaigns are performing, or how their website is performing on a global scale in mobile.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I know SEOs who would walk around different areas and do the same search over and over again on their personal phone, and this is much easier than that. And then the other thing I still see a lot is like SEOs reaching out on Twitter and going, hey, is there anyone in Cleveland who can do a search for best plumber? And like, that's lame, and we shouldn't have to do that. So the Serperator fixes that.
Okay. And that's the separator.
Serperator.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. So and so from a tool point of view, the reason why you go with building these tools, is that because you felt that the tools out there now are not kind of adaptive enough to mobile, or?
Well, first and foremost, I built them because I needed them for my clients, and because I wanted to really understand what the search result looks like. But in a larger context, I think that a lot of people focus on the numbers that they can get out of their analytics, but the numbers are excluding so many things that can take SEO traffic away. Only looking at, for instance, Search Console, you don't know if you have featured snippets or knowledge graph or map pack or anything that's there that might push you way down or take a lot of attention and clicks away. It's hard to know. And there are other tools that do a better job of those things. They tell you, yes, there's a knowledge graph, but they don't tell you, for instance, when the knowledge graph changes, when the knowledge graph gets a new button or gets a new image or has a new layout. And so ours, we have the ability to do live testing to see what's going on right now, but then we also have an auto capture that gets the whole length of the mobile screenshot. And you can set it up to capture it daily, weekly, monthly, so that you can go back when you see something weird in your traffic, in your mobile traffic, you can go back and say, well, what changed? And you can actually look at real pictures and say, oh, we got a picture. That's why the traffic went up. Or, oh, a knowledge graph popped into this result. That's why we lost all this traffic. And I don't see any of the other tool results really getting that granular.
And I mean, going back to your kind of passion towards mobile, today, and I see this with clients, and I actually had an interesting talk. I don't know if you know Nick Wilston, so we were talking today, or yesterday, about that companies are now not talking about mobile first or digital first. They're talking about mobile only or digital only, because it's like we've moved past of having something first. But how, like, compared to when you were kind of starting this journey, how important is mobile today? Like from a
it's
0
even
to 100?
more important, I would say, because people are using their device as often a primary device, or more of a primary device. And the way I think Google conceives of the phone is like kind of like a hub. And because it's always with you, where your desktop computer, even your laptop computer, might not always be with you, your phone always is. And so it knows the most about you. So for instance, now, even when you're searching on your desktop computer or laptop computer, if you're logged into Google, it's getting your location from your phone. Because the phone has better GPS.
You've seen this. Have you seen these COVID mobility reports that Google has been publishing?
Yes.
It's absolutely brilliant, and being able to see based upon mobile uses whether people are going to restaurants or not, but that's the world we live in. So now we have 5G coming, and that's going to be even further impactful.
I think that's just going to mean more and more people use the mobile device without even thinking about what they're consuming is or where it comes from. So for instance, like, you used to be able to ask people, do you use the internet on your phone? And they would say no. And then you would say, well, do you use Facebook on your phone? And they say, oh yeah, I do. And they didn't know that Facebook was on the internet, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to get closer and closer to that kind of situation on more things, where, for instance, people search on their phone for what they want to cast and watch on their TV. And that's happening a lot right now, as people are stuck in their home, searching on the phone, what are we going to watch next? And then you just hit play and cast it. But the TV is now not doing much of the hard work. The phone is. The TV is just kind of a receiver or a...
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Hey, so I changed of subject. What's happening with the donkey there in your couch? Is he being like he's facing be free, but he doesn't look very free? Is he okay?
Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I know. He's a sad guy, but is he focusing on being free, or is he just kind of is he shy? Is he just being kind of
shy?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I like Zoom because I could change the background. I could basically be sitting on the toilet and talking to you. So
I'll position.
Okay. Yeah, no, I love the thing about this is that it's all personal and nice. So no worries. It's great. I love it. So you live in Denver, don't you?
Yes.
So that's like, and we mentioned a little bit earlier, that's like, and Chris Sherman lives in Denver also. Are you in any contact with him? Do you meet him regularly, or?
Chris and I will meet up once a year usually, outside of conferences, not a whole bunch, but.
He left SMX and the Third Door Media, and hopefully he's able to retire a little bit and relax, enjoy the Denver fresh air. Personally, I think this should be, if it isn't already, be teaching us much more about the important things in our lives than we kind of normally look at. So like our kids, our family, the people around us. I actually, in my case, having 3 girls here and my wife, we have actually probably grown closer now because we've had to tackle this from kind of the closeness of not being able to go much out and so on. So it's been quite helpful, and I'm actually a little bit thankful for that.
Yes, I hear a lot of people echoing that sentiment. And I live alone, but I'm also grateful because it forced me to slow down in a way that I haven't for years.
Yeah.
Because I always travel and stuff like that. And to me, other than knowing what horrible stuff is going on outside, it's actually the rest of it, the not being forced to go out and socialize and stuff like that, has been a bit relaxing, because I'm very introverted. So I will go out and socialize, but I get a lot of rest and energy just from being alone. So it's been okay with me.
So is that your nature? Are you an introvert?
Yeah, big time.
Okay. I haven't noticed.
I've been doing a lot. I've been enjoying creative things more than just work, because there's more time to do it when you're not moving around. So I've been sewing masks and donating them to local groups and charities and things that need it, because a huge shortage. That's a creative pursuit that feels so different from SEO and from computers. Because it's so physical and mechanical.
I mean, COVID has, like, I have now done videos with 7, 8 friends and colleagues, and you are now here, and I have several of them lined up already, and I love it. I'm watching them actually, just because there's so much to talk about, and it just makes you realize, firstly, that how great the industry is. A lot of great people. We're able to talk about everything and nothing. And how, even if people which I haven't met, I had a great talk with Bill Hunt, for example. We haven't met face to face for maybe 3 or 4 years, and it was absolutely brilliant catching up with him. And same with you. And these are like this just shows like what happens when you are in something like this, that you kind of like start to realize what it is that you miss, what it is that you want to do, and it gives you a little bit of focus. And I actually appreciate that.
Yeah. Totally. Have you been doing lots of music or other things? I know your whole family is musical. I remember.
Well, where is it?
You're gonna play?
There's a show. No, where is it? It doesn't come through. Oh fuck! I have a Fender here. So yeah. No. What I want to say is that yeah, absolutely. And even my wife has been trying to learn how to play the guitar. So there are things here which are happening. There's magic happening when it comes to. And there's all kinds of things, but back to SEO and mobile and your company and what you do for a living. So what type of clients do you take on normally? What is it that you kind of, what is your preferred kind of method of taking on clients, for example?
So we have two sides of the business. We have the tool side, which is open to anyone, and there are of course different levels for solo, big, and then all the way up to enterprise. And then on the consulting side, we're actually still very small. So we only take probably a maximum of 4 to 6 clients at a time, and that's maximum. But they're usually big projects where we really act like we're part of the team, and we're having regular weekly meetings, sometimes more, and stuff like that. And they tend to be big enterprise kinds of sites. We did a lot of entertainment and video SEO for TV networks for a while, and now we're kind of less focused on that, and more, we have a little bit of e-commerce. I'd say maybe half e-commerce, half kind of more subscription kinds of things.
Okay, and like in the case of your clients, what are the outcomes that you're seeing with kind of the most, like, what are the things that, like, beyond the low-hanging fruit? What are the outcomes that you are seeing from optimizing more mobile? What are like the key things that you have experienced?
We've been focusing a lot on featured snippets. And I think, I'm trying to remember the exact statistic, but I think we had, for one section of a site, like a 6,000% increase in traffic that was largely due to featured snippets.
And 6,000%, not going from 1 to 6,000, but meaningful numbers.
Yeah, meaningful numbers. And it was pretty vindicating, because it was something on the site that they had forever, that was built in JavaScript. And forever I had been asking if we could break it out of the JavaScript. And finally we got them to say yes. And then just exactly like I said it would happen.
Yeah. Bring out the champagne.
Hmm?
Bring out the champagne.
Yeah, exactly.
Celebrate. But what brought you into this? Like, in my case, I was uh, uh, played music in bands. I was never good enough, but I was okay. I wanted to be involved in music, but I didn't see a career for it. So I went into sound engineering, and that's how I started to recognize technology. From there into system engineering, building computers and things like that. And then 1995-ish, Google comes along, and 7-ish, sorry, Google comes along, and then magic happens, and that's kind of how I came into this. Where did you come from? What's your background in this? Why did you jump into this?
So I have degrees in marketing, and then graphic design. So art,
Okay.
an art degree and a business degree. And when I finished school, I started by basically building really crappy web pages and front page.
You are you a front page user?
Yeah.
I still have a diploma in front page, which I love it. Sorry for go ahead. Yeah.
And but they weren't ranking, and so at the company that I worked for, I was tasked with figuring out why they weren't ranking and how we could get them ranking. And that's how I got into SEO, and it was so much more fun, and it was such a unique skill compared to web design. And it was more strategic and more like a puzzle. So I just did it immediately. And then the mobile thing happened like right when I switched from that original job where I'd been building websites to my first real SEO job. I got a pretty big increase in pay. And so the first thing I bought with my paycheck, with my new bigger paycheck, was a fancy phone.
Ooh.
But the problem was, because my previous one hadn't really been a smartphone, but the problem was when they hired me to do this job where they were paying me very generously in my mind, they didn't have enough work for me to do. So I was just sitting there making good money, and I felt so guilty that since I had the new phone, I was doing test searches on my phone and noticing how different they were to the desktop results. And so I kind of thought like, oh, all these SEOs are writing about what they're seeing, and I'm not an expert in this mobile thing, but no one's writing about it, so I may as well just write about it.
Yeah.
And think I'm wrong, someone will tell me, but I'd rather write about it and find out that people disagree than just not have the conversation happen at all. So that's how it kind of started.
And that's how MobileMoxie became of existence.
Yeah, well, the company didn't have that wasn't the original company name, but that's kind of how it was born. Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Where does MobileMoxie come from? Where does that name come from? How did you come to that? Mobile is obvious.
And like I've been told that I have Moxie, like it means persistence and tenacity.
Okay.
So I just like the way it sounded.
So it's a connection between mobile and you, and it's merged into one. In a way, yeah, it's brilliant. I love that.
With SEO, you have to have tenacity. If you give up, it's never going to work. You have to keep trying. Not everything's going to work.
No, it's stamina. It's about stamina. It's about the long run. Brilliant. I love talking to you. What we should actually be thinking about this. Try to get more of us together and just kind of have a group talk and just like remember good times. But one thing which I was trying to remember, when did you come to Iceland for Reykjavik Internet Marketing? You've been there twice, haven't you?
At least twice, maybe 3 times, and I loved it. Actually, my favorite food is from Iceland, from something that I think you or one of your colleagues convinced me to eat because I didn't want to eat it, and then I loved it. But I'm not going to say what it is because it's controversial. I'll tell you when we stop recording.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But it's now my favorite food.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been 2010 and 11 maybe, or 12.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it can be exactly. Yeah. And it's It is good memories, and I actually I was pinged on Facebook recently. There was somebody sharing pictures from one of the conferences, and apparently I fell asleep in the bus on the way from the Friday night party, and of course they have to put that picture as the main one. So yeah, making sure that I get some beating, but it's all good. Again, thank you for doing this. Love it, and let's be in contact and stay in contact. And if there's anything I can do for you, the line is always open.
Yes, I would love that. That sounds great. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, say hi to everybody in Denver, and hope and to your parents and the donkey there in the corner. Tell him he can be a little bit more happier.
Looking at the camera.
Yeah, looking at the camera. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, and take care. Is it morning your time?
Morning.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's slowly. It is morning here, but it's sunny and it's actually super nice weather. I've been in Norway now for 5 years and I love it. It's great.
Thank you.
I'm turning off the recording, and you can tell me what food it is.